I don't know where I belong. No, I don't know. But I've been hanging on for too long. 'Cause no one really knows me at all.
My name's Colin Hofel. I'm 25 years old, and I am the writer and director of the short film called Run. Directing's tough shit. I suck at it.
My name's Will Gordon. I'm 24 years old, and I'm the producer. What I saw my main role was to just keep the ball rolling. We didn't have a designated UPM or anything, so we had our gaffer Spencer Gorton doing a lot of our planning and movie magic work, which was funny because he kept saying, "I'm not your fucking UPM."
My name is Spencer Gorton. I'm 21 years old. I was the gaffer on set, so I was just in charge of lighting things. I've never really done much gaffing work.
My name is Spencer Brown. I'm 26 years old. I am the director of photography / Kyle's babysitter on this film. No, I'm just kidding. One of the two directors of photography.
He's a great guy. He likes to pretend he's people's babysitters for some reason. I don't know, he gets off on it. My name is Kyle Shadow. I am one of the two directors of photography on the film Run, and I'm 25 years old. Quarter of a century.
My name is Colin Felger. I'm 24 years old, and my job on set was first AD, which means first assistant director. I don't like communicating with people. The best part of my job was I got to boss people around and kind of be a dick, and I thought that was great.
Hi, my name is Megan Williams. I am 21 years old. I am part 2 of the production team, and I'm also one of the lead editors.
I'm Tony Pacheco, and I'm the production designer for Run.
This is based on a true story. It's a very heartfelt story.
It's a very personal story that I think a lot of people can relate to.
This film is a family piece. It's about a woman trying to cope with the loss of her mother.
This film is about connections, seeing eye to eye, communication at the end of the day.
It's about a young woman struggling with closure, dealing with the death of her mom and growing through the experience of actually facing her inner demons. Because this story is based off something Colin, our director, has lived through. So it's kind of I feel like I almost get to step in his shoes and relive it, and it's kind of cool. I'm exploring his mind and how to tell his memories.
I think that's honestly one of the hardest things because ultimately we're making something for the public, and this is something that's obviously very personal and very, very meaningful for Colin.
It's about loss and recovery, and it's heavy for everybody. And I think most people who saw the film that we're making connected to that, and I think that really, as with any film, if you have real connection or a real experience in it, it makes it that much more powerful.
Casting was kind of different. You deal with a lot of bad actors through casting, and every now and then you find the really good ones. Those are the ones you have to hang on to. But I've definitely learned some things through the casting process. I don't know. There's certain characteristics people had, if they acted desperate, I'd really just cross out their name, because I feel like actors who act desperate during the audition, they don't really have a sense of emotional composure, which is something you need when you're making a movie, because it's very stressful.
Haley Wells, who plays Allie, was really good at taking emotional direction, and I was glad that it was a female. Not to say that males don't have that control over their emotions, but a lot of this story is based off of my emotional walls that I put up. So I think having a female character that I could articulate my personal struggles to and have her act that out was a huge part of it. In me not being able to do that in the past or in real life, So having her do that would really lended itself to the emotional beats of the story, I think.
What I like the most about being a director of photography is really crafting a look for the film, specifically when it's based on somebody else's idea. But we've been trying to shoot golden hour as much as possible for these early morning like running scenes, and that's been going wonderfully. And just lots of heavy blue stuff. So this movie is a very, very cool color temperature. So we haven't been so much focused on the composition of lighting, more so than the mood of the lighting. And that would be like kind of cool, frosty, hazy, just kind of like how you think of a memory. And that's kind of the key to the whole aesthetic for the film.
The thing that I really love about my job on this film was the amount of freedom that I had to work with.
I will say though, I do think this movie is fucking cursed. We've had 2 crew members sent to the ER. One of them not only because of this movie, but I do think because the movie does have a medical theme, it's taking its toll on the crew members, and eventually I very well might be next, which worries me. I had a dream last night where Colin and Will got killed in Cuba. We're about to go to Cuba. But that's a different story, man.
Oh man, the first day was like full of trials and tribulations. To start off, we weren't slating. We were shooting in the woods. We were out there at 5:30 in the morning, and yeah, we were kind of just winging it. We were getting our bearings set. It was our first day. Everybody was getting into their role, and yeah, that was like a big doozy. We'll see how it hits us in post, like not having any sound sunk or anything, but we'll deal with that.
I haven't seen too many of the dailies, but I did watch the first day, which was in Tilden Park in Berkeley, and in my opinion, the camera had some stabilization issues, and so like the running shots were really kind of jumbled, and I think Colin agreed that we might have to pick that up.
That's my favorite shot, by far. That, and maybe there's some great Ronin footage of Haley hiking outdoors. And because I did this really long parallax on her that I've been playing with and just speeding up.
2 directors of photography on one set is kind of a recipe for disaster, but Spencer and I seem to be a really good, we kind of mesh.
You would never think a room can tell a story, but it can. And I honestly love piecing together that story through a room.
My favorite shot so far would have to be where we kind of ghetto-rigged this really crazy looking setup with a broom pole and clamps, and we kind of clamped the camera on a gimbal to the pole and pulled it over the couch backwards.
And we basically had to like crab walk like laterally across like 20-25 feet of space while trying to keep focus and keep the framing correct. I did review the footage and we nailed it, but it took about 8 tries.
But damn, I loved shooting the sequence at the house. That was fun, like from under the covers to them storming out and going their separate ways. I think the ending scene was one of the ones I enjoyed filming the most too, because it's just that moment that our 2 characters kind of see eye to eye for the first time. They've both kind of gone through their shit throughout the film. The daughter's telling the dad to fuck off, and the dad's just telling her to like hear her out. So I thought that was definitely like a fun scene to end on. I'm really satisfied with where we're at. We pulled off a hospital build like 4 days before we were about to lock in an urgent care clinic.
Which we dreaded at first because we knew how much work it would be, you know, and it was a super last minute decision. We were set on a hospital, like Colin wanted to film in a hospital, like it added, you know, it means so much to him and to the script.
We had to, one, find the right floorboards. Building the walls was definitely a challenge. Painting them and repainting them and letting them dry. That was totally fun, just waiting around, waiting for literal paint to dry.
Lighting that was a monster because we had 2 2K tungsten lights, each of them generating like 12 amps, and we had to put them on different circuits or we were gonna blow like a fuse or something, so that was pretty interesting. And then we also didn't have any barn doors for those lights, so any gels we were putting on there were just getting melted just because of the heat. It was just crazy.
Yeah, I think on the daily you make sacrifices to the script, be it small, subtle details or major scenes that get slashed. and we had to compromise. The bald head wasn't working. I bought a shitty bald head the night before, and our makeup artist, to his credit, hadn't really done a bald head before, but agreed to do one. And it just looked awful. He said it looked awful. I definitely agreed with him. But the purpose of the bald head scene that we scrapped on day one was to ride this middle line between a flashback and reality of this couple walking into the woods to tell their daughter that the mom was going to die of cancer. So we wanted to have her have a bald head and an arm bracelet band, and she'd be wearing a red beanie, and red's my mom's favorite color. So I think that these are all little elements that may not mean anything to the viewer, but like they hold impact and strength for me trying to get a point across. So when we scrap that, it's definitely hard to let go, but it's just shit you have to do on the fly. I think all in all, like, we had a good push.
One thing I love about being the director of photography for this film is the creativity involved. And basically, when you get that one shot that just looks good, that makes the whole thing for me worth it. Makes it all worth it.
It was actually amazing. Me and Kyle have a very similar sense of cinematography. Like I remember the first day he came in with like 8 storyboards. I had a shot written on the shot list that was identical to his storyboards with no communication.
I feel like it's a mess, but it's a good mess.
My favorite thing of this production has to be the crew. Like we all love each other. We get along. We're kind of like close-knit family at this point.
Got a talented crew, and I think everyone's on top of their game. It's pretty cool to be working with all these people for so long and just seeing them like do what they're really good at.
I think there's so many great directors out there and classmates that I'm surrounded by that have really good insight into just working with actors and getting the reaction that you want on camera. So it's been a process, but day by day, it's one of those things you get more comfortable at, and it's relationships at the end of the day with your characters and your cast. So I was really blessed with like a great cast, really good actors that are just genuinely cool fucking people at the end of the day. We're trying to communicate stories on screens, and we're trying to communicate with individuals. Like whatever the relationship is, people are just trying to relate and to communicate. And I think that that's what this story is trying to do. Like anybody that's had an issue that they've been pushing off to the side, or I think that's what it's about, and communication is what it's like. Signing off.
Cut. It's fucking cool. It's fucking cool. Hey dude, I'm gonna request that you please just kill yourself. I can do that right now.
That would be fun. You can show them how we type.
Like, that's not on point. Whiskey.
What was that?
We'll have a great night for 3 days.
Oh, it's Zoom.